Vice President Harris, well, she's going to Michigan this week. A lot. So is the campaign. She's set to visit Detroit on Tuesday, where she will sit for a live interview with Charlamagne tha God on The Breakfast Club. She'll hit several more cities across the state on Friday before heading back to Detroit on Saturday when the state kicks off its early voting period. President Obama is also expected to stump for Harris in Michigan later this month. The moves come amid what are growing concerns in some Democratic circles about Harris's level of support in the state. So, of course, we had to call in a Michigan guru. Democratic Congresswoman Debbie Dingell of Michigan joins us now.
Good morning, Congresswoman. Right off the top, just to pick up where Simone took us, what is driving this concern? Look, you see an unprecedented amount of voter registration very effectively put into play by Democrats in not just, battleground states, but seriously across the country. And yet there seems to be this nervousness, this kind of, I don't know. If these voters are going to come through. What's your assessment of that fear or that sort of doubt? And what can be done to stop the bleeding there, if in fact there is bleeding there?
So good morning to all of you. It's always great to be with you. And there's several issues at play. I want to first say to you that at this point in 2016, I had said to two of the three of you, Donald Trump's going to win Michigan, and everybody thought it was crazy. At this point in the election, I'm going to tell you that neither candidate has won Michigan. It is competitive and going to be down to who turns out to vote. And there are four issues. One is a problem that we had in 2016, the union vote. And we have got to get into those union halls. They have to see the real Kamala Harris. So while we have the union leadership and the union leadership knows they have a problem, we still have to get to those union voters. Two, the Mideast makes Michigan a very, very complicated state. It's just wrong. It's wrong on all sides. And I don't know what's going to happen. Some people will just stay home and not vote. Some will vote for Donald Trump and some will vote for Kamala Harris. And we need to make sure that they're hearing Donald Trump talk about internment camps again. There's a lot of things that have to be done there. It's a very complicated situation. Three, you've seen more talk this week, and I've been saying it for a couple of months. Young Black men, I feel like they're being taken for granted. They're being wooed hard by the Republicans, and we've got to go out there and tell the story. Democrats are not good communicators at times, and we can't take anybody for granted. And the fourth is more than a challenge of the first three. We have to get young people to turn out. I see a lot of energy on my University of Michigan campus, but there's also young people are worried about the environment and they're worried about the Mideast. So these are all issues. We've got 23 days, but who's counting? We've got to roll up our sleeves and do the work.
Simone, I want to kick it over to you, but I just want to underscore that Axios captured this much the way that you did, Congresswoman Dingell, writing, quote, Michigan is the most complex swing state, and then listing exactly as you spoke to us, union members, Arab Americans, young men, all colliding there, Simone.
I guess, Congresswoman, what is going to make the difference here? And I want to back up for a second, because you're on this morning because you always give it to the people straight. Mm-hmm. And I know that you have been very candid and very frank with the senior members of the Harris-Walz campaign about these very issues. How will the gaps get closed then? I think people should be heartened by the fact that you are sitting here today saying nobody has Michigan in the bag. That means that there is real time, but early voting starts on Saturday in the state. And I am just really wondering what is going to make the difference here with the union voters, with the folks who are most concerned about the Mideast. I mean, the uncommitted vote is something I'm looking at from the primary, almost 100,000 people. That matters in Michigan. And then when it comes to younger voters and then Black women and Black voters across the board.
So it's complicated, but you're already seeing some of the fixes. I think everybody, the national media, everybody focused on Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania matters, but they took their eye off on Michigan and thought that it was okay. You see, as you all talked about, the vice president will be here both on Tuesday and Saturday. President Obama is coming in. But we need to turn out the vote in Detroit, but we've got to make sure we're turning out the vote in all the places. So, for instance, my district has the most Democratic votes, and it has almost 100,000 more votes than the 13th district did in 2022. So while we've got to make sure that we've got getting people registered, that they're going out to vote, Detroit this year has the highest return on absentee ballots. We can't take our eye off of that. We have to talk to them. But we also have, so we got to turn out the vote in my district, and we have we have 4 competitive congressional races. So 3 of them are absolutely, they're all critical. Grand Rapids, I think, is in better shape. But we got to make sure we're getting into Lansing, into Flint, talking to those African-American men over in Macomb County, which Donald Trump is working hard. So it's knowing the map, it's doing the work, getting the right people in. And I keep saying this, let Kamala Harris be Kamala Harris. I don't know how I got talked into this. I'm on the board of the group that Donald Trump spoke to on Thursday. I sat there respectfully, because you know me, I believe in civility, for 2 hours and 20 minutes. You don't agree with him. What he says is outrageous, but he speaks with passion, and people connect with it. We got to see I know the real Kamala Harris. I've seen her with them out there. We got to let her be seen. People want to know they know her.
So talking a little bit of the numbers there in your state, and you've already mentioned how this is a toss-up. You've got Quinnipiac University noting Trump 50, Harris 47, with the margin of error of 3% with likely voters. And then you have, with respect to your Senate race, which is very, very much to the point that you're making about the toss-up nature of this campaign, Alyssa Slotkin at 48%, Mike Rogers at 48%. That, to me, is a very interesting sign to your first point, Congresswoman. How do you see, and you already referenced some of the congressional races, how do those down-ballot races actually help potentially the top of the ticket in terms of turnout and sort of the modeling that you do on the ground to get voters out for an Alyssa Slotkin or some of the congressional candidates?
We have to turn out our vote. I have to turn out every single vote I can get. And let me tell you something I'm really proud of. The office that we have in Ann Arbor is responsible for more than 30% of the contacts throughout the state. We know what we got to do, and we just have to go do it. We are now getting the surrogates in that we need to do. I think people miss that Donald Trump's mail was as strong on the ground as it's been, and he's mailing into Democratic areas. We got to communicate and tell the truth. We got to do the contrast. Jim Clyburn was very effective when he was in here last weekend, talking to African-American men and telling them the truth and doing that comparison. Because you got to have the right messengers, too. I'm not necessarily, I do try, every weekend, you all know me, I try to make sure I'm every place. So I'm at the farmer's market, I'm in a union hall, I'm someplace in a church, I'm with the veterans. So I hear, I listen, I know what they're saying, but I'm not always the right messenger. We got to get the right messengers in here, but we got to communicate. We got to communicate well. 216, it was trade again. So Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have a lot of the same feelings that Donald Trump's talking about on trade. And by the way, we've created jobs. We've kept plants open. He closed 6 auto plants when he was president. A lot of people don't know that. Got to get the message out.
Congresswoman Debbie Dingell, one of the best in the business. We really appreciate your time.